The revelation of Jesus Christ is so confusing. No, it is not. God made this rather easy on us, and I mean, he put it in the sky for us, little childrens. The absolute truth I'm about to show you is confirmed by the stars. Not astrology, not mysticism. God put the Mazzaroth in the sky to declare his glory and preach his gospel in a universal language from one end of the earth to the other. Revelation chapter 12 is a banger. It tells us of the past history of the earth and of its future. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his heads. And this was in the beginning of heaven and earth. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And these are the days of Enoch, the 7th from Adam. And this is what Jude spoke of in chapter 1, verse 6 of his book. And the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day. In the days of Enoch, which he names in verse 14. And Enoch also, the 7th from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, Behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000s of his saints to execute judgment upon all. This is Genesis chapter 6. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. These are the Anunnaki, those to who earth from heaven come, the pantheon of gods from every mythology. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown, the demigods. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And God flooded the earth, as the plan was to have it all set up to kill Christ when he was born, by corrupting the hearts and minds of men, that their thoughts were only evil continually. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. God flooded the earth and saved 8 humans alive, so that Christ could be born. And his gospel went out into all the world. The woman is holy Jerusalem above, our mother, the bride of Christ. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. Strike the shepherd, and the sheep will scatter. The gospel of Jesus Christ has gone out into all the world. When a Christian is saved, it is like unto when the Hebrews were saved out of Egypt. A Christian is saved to wander in the desert until he reaches the promised land. Revelation 12 verse 6 brings us all the way through the tribulation of the saints to the great tribulation, verse 7. Now we are reading the future. As the days of Noah were, when Satan from heaven cast 1/3 of the stars to the earth. And I do mean fallen angels. Something just like that is going to happen again. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, Now is come salvation and strength, and the kingdom of our God, and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night in the tribulation. And I will prove that right now in verse 11. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death, just as Christ commanded the church of Smyrna in Revelation chapter 2. The tribulation of the saints, the war on the saints, is what causes Satan and his angels to be cast out of heaven. I just read it to you. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell on them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. The great tribulation is Satan's wrath, not God's. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. Holy Jerusalem, the bride of Christ. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time, and times, and half a time, from the face of the serpent. The 3.5 years of the great tribulation. 7 years total. The first 3.5 are the tribulation. The last 3.5 are the great tribulation. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. The abomination that causes desolation. And here is the reference from Jeremiah chapter 46. Remember that mystery Babylon is spiritually called Egypt. Verse 7, who is this that cometh up as a flood, whose waters are moved as the rivers? Egypt riseth like a flood, and his waters are moved like the rivers. And he saith, I will go up and will cover the earth. I will destroy the city and the inhabitants thereof. But God says, come up, ye horses, and rage, ye chariots, and let the mighty men come forth. Verse 10, for this is the day of the Lord of hosts, a day of vengeance, that he may avenge him of his adversaries. And the sword shall devour, and it shall be satiate and made drunk with their blood. For the Lord God of hosts hath a sacrifice in the north country by the river Euphrates. Revelation 12, verse 16, and the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth, ate them all up. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God, and have the testimony of Jesus Christ, 144,000 sealed elect, all Israel grafted back in at the end. Matthew 24, verse 22, and except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. You see, nobody knows the day or hour of the Lord's return, because the Great Tribulation has a prescribed length of time. But God will cut it short to save the 144,000 alive before Satan kills them too. Matthew 24, verse 29, Jesus said, immediately after the tribulation of those days, after the first 3.5 years, the war on the saints, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with the great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. And that event Jesus just named can be seen in Revelation chapter 11, verse 18. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come. What follows the seventh trumpet is the 7 vials of God's wrath. And that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great. Shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. And now I will summarize the order of events that we have read today. In the days of Enoch, Satan cast 1/3 of the stars to the earth. When God flooded the earth, he wrapped those angels in chains and cast them into hell, the bottomless pit. Jesus was born on the earth, and after he was crucified and rose from the dead, he ascended to the throne of God, far above all heavens. His gospel went out into the whole world, the church. In the fairly near future, as God reckons time, Satan will make war on the saints from heaven, accusing the brethren day and night before our God, and they will overcome him by the blood of the Lamb and the power of their testimony, of Jesus Christ. And that causes Satan to be thrown out of heaven for the great tribulation. And when the abomination that causes desolation has killed all the Christians, he will turn his attention to the 144,000 sealed elect. And in order to save them alive, God will cut the great tribulation short with the 7th trumpet, the rapture of the 144,000, the first resurrection. The dead will rise first, and then we who are alive and remain will meet them in the air for the marriage. And then we will all come down for the marriage supper of the Lamb, and that is called Armageddon. Jesus turning the water into wine for the marriage supper. Blood up to the horses' bridles. A feast for the birds of heaven. The supper of the great God. Satan, like those angels who fell before him, will be bound in everlasting chains and cast into hell, the bottomless pit. As the days of Noah were, so shall it be when the Son of Man returns, followed by the millennial reign of Christ, where he will dash the nations to pieces with a rod of iron. And when that is over, Satan will be let loose from hell to deceive the nations once more, to gather them to Armageddon part 2. Fire will come out of heaven and destroy them. Heaven and earth will both flee away, and there will be no place found for them. God will sit upon his throne in judgment. Death and hell will give up the dead that are in them. Everyone whose name is not written in the Lamb's book of life will go into the eternal lake of fire, along with the beast, the false prophet, Satan and all his angels, death and hell themselves. And then God will make heaven and earth new. Heaven will come down to earth, and the children of God will dwell with him in eternity. This is what the Bible says.